Hello, my name is Chris Pike, and I'm here to provide you with an introduction to ARC. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is ARC? ARC is part of the U.S. Green Building Council and GBCI family of organizations. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of GBCI. We exist to support GBCI's market transformation brands and to contribute to the U.S. Green Building Council's mission. And in that way, our goal is to bring real-world performance measurement to the green building industry, to make it accessible and ideally ubiquitous, and in that way drive our industry forward into the next generation of green building practice. It's useful to understand exactly what ARC does. We certainly don't do everything. We're a small group within the USGBC and GBCI family, and we try to focus on three core competencies. One, we provide the tools to score the real-world operational performance of any project anywhere in the world. And by project, we mean space, building, community, or city. We also provide the tools to compare project performance to a portfolio or to other benchmarks, such as LEED certification requirements or the emerging world of building performance standards. We also provide tools to analyze, summarize, and report on performance, ultimately with the goal of celebrating leadership. So to put this in sports terms, we give everyone the ability to add data, generate a score, compare themselves to others, and to get recognized for their leadership on a local or global level. Who's using ARC today? Let's have a little snapshot of the types of users we're generally talking about. Today, we are supporting a wide range of folks. Our core demographic essentially includes individual facility managers, such as this Schneider Electric facility in France, where they are striving for world leadership. Entire corporate portfolios, such as Kilroy, who are striving to make green building part of how they operate in their DNA for the spaces that they build and manage and offer on behalf of tenants. Also for individual corporate occupiers, such as Prada stores, working with more than 300 locations around the world to understand where they stand and to help them pursue green building certification. And we also have a special interest in K-12 and higher education, working in partnership with USGBC's Center for Green Schools. Today, we have 5.75 billion square feet of activated projects on the platform. This means projects that people have gone in, turned them on, and begun to contribute data. This is an increase of over 1.77 billion square feet over the last 12 months alone. Today, ARC is truly global in scope. 47% of the projects are in the United States of America, and we are active in 130 other countries with substantial activity in China, Canada, India, Sweden, Japan, Mexico, and others. So we are excited about our global footprint, and it is part and parcel to how we think about the platform. We are trying to make ourselves relevant to green building activity at a global scale. One of our functions and that demonstrates our capabilities is the ability to understand what LEED projects deliver in the real world. And so this is both, yes, a microcosm of what we can do for others and specific actionable data that we can provide to folks who are thinking about LEED. So one of the things we can do is a bit of myth busting and inform you about what's going on in the marketplace. So on our dashboard, we call it our impact dashboard, which is updated every night. You'll find it on our homepage, and you'll see some statistics such as this: key performance indicators. You'll see an indicator like this one: emissions by occupant. We can show that scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gas emissions intensity, in other words, emissions per occupant, goes down dramatically, over 65%, between LEED certified and LEED platinum certifications. So you can see this dramatic and sustained reduction. We've seen this for years at this point. And at the same time, we can underscore that these green buildings are not Jimmy Carter green buildings. They are not the kind where you need to put on a sweater to feel better. In fact, these are ones where as you achieve higher levels of emissions reduction, i.e. lower emissions intensities, this is accompanied by, on average, higher occupant satisfaction. So we take already satisfying buildings at the LEED certified or silver level, and they get even better at the platinum level, over 25% better, in fact. So these low emission buildings can dramatically reduce emissions per occupant and deliver superior conditions for occupants. That's what we're all about, showing that with real world measured data. So as I work through this, I want to give you a sense of how ARC works. We have 3 dimensions to our platform. The first one is by far the most important. As I mentioned at the outset, we have a program called ARC for All. Anyone, anywhere can enter information, manage data, and score projects for free. It is by far the #1 engagement path. It is the easiest way to get started measuring and scoring performance. We then offer a set of premium tools for projects and portfolios. I'll share some of those with you. So we give project teams the ability to measure, benchmark, report on any space or facility, and we give portfolio owners and managers an expanded set of tools to allow them to do their work. Of course, ARC does have a special relationship with LEED. We are part of the US GBCI family. ARC provides scores that directly inform LEED certification. This includes LEED 4.1 for operations and maintenance, LEED recertification, LEED for communities, and LEED for cities. All of these programs directly consume LEED scores. So our role in this relationship is we provide a digital gateway to LEED by helping aggregate project data, interpret it against criteria that are established by the LEED steering committee composed of volunteers, and reflect that and inject that into the certification process. We do this for energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience. So in this case, we are a piece of middleware existing between the primary data producers and the way that it intersects the LEED certification process. The core metrics, our belief in LEED is that in ARC is that we establish a core set of energy performance metrics. And these metrics include energy and emissions, water, waste, transportation, and human experience. We deal with each of these broad categories is further refined into a specific measurable quality. So energy and emissions are decomposed into source energy intensity and greenhouse gas emissions intensity. We focus with respect to water management on potable water consumption, potable water use. We also focus on waste generation and diversion from landfill. When it comes to transportation, we focus on the diversity of travel modes and the total amount of emissions generated through the transportation to and from the building. And finally, and certainly not the least, we focus on multiple measures of human experience, critically combining perceived occupant satisfaction with measured indoor air quality, in this case, both carbon dioxide concentrations and total volatile organic compounds, TVOC. So this is a lean, targeted set of real-world performance measures that give us a fundamental sense of how green buildings are performing. We help project teams manage these data in a variety of ways. We try to provide something for everyone. This starts with simple manual data entry. We provide a simple, easy-to-use user interface that allows anyone, anywhere in the world to get on the system for free, enter data for free, and make edits and additions to their team's work. We also allow folks to upload data either for a single project or a portfolio via a spreadsheet, or we allow them to connect via an API, an application programming interface, to an automation partner where they can sync or link data. These are folks like Energy Star Portfolio Manager, third parties like Measurable, Wattix, Clear, or a growing universe of integration partners. So whether you're entering data manually, loading it via spreadsheets, or establishing a connection, entering data is always free, and we try to make it as easily and as seamless as possible. To make ARC more tangible, I want to give you a user case study. And in this case, let me talk to you about a company called Schlumberger. They are a global leader in oil field services, so they provide support for customers all over the world. And they have a global commitment to decarbonizing their workplaces and improving occupant satisfaction. And so This is a snapshot of SLB's portfolio. We're very privileged to work with them across their global estate, over 1,150 projects in 120 countries, totaling 100 million square feet. They serve a population of 93,000 occupants. Their sustainability objectives include tracking Scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gas emissions, reporting to the Carbon Disclosure Project, and for selected projects, pursuing LEED certification. We assist them with all three. So ARC provides a bundle of services to support those objectives, including, but not limited to, a state-of-the-art cybersecurity review. How do we meet high expectations for keeping data safe and private across a global estate? How do we get you started when you have over 1,000 projects and you want to get going yesterday? How do we provide custom reports for regional portfolios and business units, whether it's North America, the Middle East, Africa, or others? And how do we address concerns about custom emissions factors such that you get such that the organization has a clear understanding about both historic, current, and future greenhouse gas emissions. So we support all of those activities. We certainly don't do this alone. There is not, ARC, as I told you, is a very thin value proposition. We measure, we score, we benchmark, we celebrate. But to do that, we interface with companies that are on the ground collecting and generating primary data. This is a small selection of our growing universe of partners. That includes Energy Star, firms like Measurable in the ESG space, or Clear in the environmental data management space, or more targeted players like Commutify or Beeline, who are providing services related to employee commuting, or our colleagues in Scotland from Arbenco, who are innovating in the measurement of indoor air quality, or other folks who are supporting specific portfolios such as Energy Watch or Wattix, and of course, our longtime partner, Schneider Electric. So these are examples of folks who are deeply integrated on a programmatic level with ARC. Their customers can seamlessly sync or link data with us in many different ways. And we pursue additional integrations upon user requests. We don't charge for these. We believe we want to make it is our obligation to make it easier to connect to systems of record. Okay, at the end of the day, we have told you how we load data, how we analyze data, and we're going to talk about how we communicate data. So we provide multiple tools to communicate performance. This goes beyond putting a glass plaque on a wall. That's an important signal to the market about the value of a piece of real estate. But we provide additional options. So this could be dynamic tools such as our emblematic ARC racetrack that shows dynamically the current or historic performance of a project. This is embeddable on a website, a kiosk, or other kinds of things. We also provide the ability to send both scores and performance indicators out on a periodic basis via email to team members. We have tools such as performance certificates that are recognized by the GRESB ESG benchmark to provide an indicator of facility performance or improvement over time. And we provide long-form, detailed, customizable reports as PDF or Excel to dive deep into individual projects or entire portfolios. Our goal is to support the multiple ways that facility owners and portfolio managers need to communicate about their assets, whether it's to tenants through a kiosk, to team members through email, to GRESB through a performance certificate, or to their peers through detailed reports. One way or the other, we provide a flexible range of communications options that is always growing. I want to talk with you finally to close this session about several emerging applications of the ARC platform. And some of these are just on the cusp. That we either just released them or we're about to really fire these up. So I want to share a few things with you. One of them, and the four that I'm going to share right now, are building performance standards, the issue of COVID reentry, how we understand financial impact, and what we're doing with climate risk. In these short vignettes, I want to show you a bit about how we are applying this ARC toolset to address specific management challenges. So the first one is performance standards. As many of us know, we face our local jurisdictions, our countries face an incredible challenge of rapid decarbonization. This is illustrated in this graphic that depicts the decarbonization trajectories we need to achieve a 1.5 degree world by 2050. The key point here is this is an incredibly rapid decarbonization effort. And in practice, it will be based on distributed efforts by jurisdictions around the world, countries, states, cities, counties, and in many cases, one of the ways to guide this is a new generation of building performance standards. So we have and what's really exciting is across the US and in countries around the world, jurisdictions are establishing building performance standards that help them meet the needs of their climate action plans. So these criteria are not so much linked to national benchmarks as they are linked to local decarbonization goals. We are excited to support this Wild West of performance criteria. It is something we can do. We can take the common set of data collected in ARC and satisfy many different people in different places, whether you're in Boston, San Francisco, Austin, or New York City. And just to give you a sense that these wild jurisdictions doing this crazy stuff are not alone, we have been studying this around the world. We have completed a database that shows that more than 26% of the global population is in a jurisdiction that has some kind of building performance standard, either whether it's voluntary or regulatory or based on benchmarking. 26% of the world population is already there. And this is certainly an underestimate for what's really going on. Okay, in ARC today, we're building out a set of features that let us evaluate a project against multiple standards. This could be the famous CREM system, the Carbon Real Estate Risk Monitor in Europe. It could be individual programs like the Seattle Building Performance Standard, or it could be comparing oneself to the GRESP benchmark. One way or the other, we are providing projects with the ability to compare their real-world measured performance to multiple third-party benchmarks. We're excited to offer this feature in the near future and to continue to expand it to cover dozens of systems around the world. When you drill in here, what we end up with most of the time is something like this. You can see that for a sample facility in Sweden, we end up with a assessment criteria. That is the top-down carbon goal that they need to achieve, that they need buildings to achieve their 1.5 degree decarbonization goal. We can evaluate that against building performance on a year-by-year basis to indicate for how long into the future this building is under their decarbonization target. And once that building is no longer meeting the target, how much of an improvement it needs to stay under the target. What does it need to do to stay ahead? And so this is the kind of information that ARC can provide, taking your real-world performance, comparing it to a jurisdictional performance criteria and telling you whether you're meeting that criteria or how much you need to improve and when you need to improve there. It's an exciting functionality. I want to bring that to something even more timely. The issue of COVID reentry, something we're all facing, we're all in the middle of, maybe we're at the end of it, the beginning of it, it's hard to know. One way or the other, as an example, one of the things that ARC has done to respond to COVID is by creating a new performance category called ARC Reentry. I'm offering this to you for two reasons. One is it's an important response to how we're dealing with COVID, but it also illustrates how we can add issues that have, in this case, very little to do with the LEED rating system. It really is an independent performance category. Our interest with ARC Reentry is to power an iterative, repeated management process. So we believe, based on a thorough review of the literature and engagement with professionals around the world, that safe and successful COVID reentry is the product of the iterative application of four components. We have to establish clear leadership with accountability for action. Those leaders need to make plans and policies that are informed by the best available public health and science. They need to take clear management action. This needs to be experienced by occupants. They are both the recipient of that action and they are observers to help us understand if it's working It is also reflected in measured indoor air quality, critically including variables such as CO2 and relative humidity, and that the outcomes are subject to benchmarking and analysis, and that we repeat this process as our scientific understanding changes, and to make sure that we are delivering on our risk reduction goals. We support this with a variety of ways. So ARC Reentry is included for all ARC users for free. There are enhanced reporting and communications tools available to ARC Essentials users. This includes Reentry branding, box scores, reports, and scorecards. Finally, the ARC Reentry tools can contribute directly to LEED certification through something we call the Safety First Pilot Credit. So for those projects that are seeking LEED 4.1 of certification, or any other instance where they could make use of a pilot credit, by achieving minimum scores for facility management, occupant experience, and IEQ, they can earn that ARC Reentry Safety First Pilot Credit. Keeping in mind that ARC Reentry itself can be used entirely independently of LEED through ARC. You can also use ARC Reentry with LEED via the Safety First Pilot Credit. The third dimension, the third application, is exciting because it involves a new partner. So many folks ask about the financial impact of green building performance. How do I turn energy, emissions, water, and other factors into dollar and cents costs and benefits? Well, this is a specialty. And the good news is we have partnered with some specialists. So the Canadian firm called AutoCase, they operate out of Toronto and New York City, and they are experts in turning energy, emissions, water, and other factors into long-term costs and benefits. So every ARC user for free can gauge their past performance, can turn their measured performance into dollars and cents impact, looking back over the last year. Folks can upgrade to look at specific targets such as net zero, 30% reduction, 10% reduction, to understand the long-term cost benefits of specific improvements in performance, and they can synchronize their data to AutoCase for more detailed analysis. This results in a detailed financial impact report. You can download the free one, you can upgrade to the premium one, and you can see things like this, where you can see these are the direct financial costs. And for this sample project, $4,000 in the last year of direct financial cost to operate this small project. That also generated over $2,000 of environmental costs, which are broken down in different ways. We can look at changes to these costs with our efforts to reduce energy consumption, water consumption, and so forth. So we can turn energy, water, and emissions into dollars and cents impacts for both society and the owner. That's an exciting thing. We can tailor that to specific goals, such as percentage reductions or other things like that, and look out 5, 10, 25 years in the future and aggregate that information in that way. It's a powerful way to communicate about both the planetary impacts, that would be carbon emissions, the direct financial costs, and the social value. It's an exciting new set of tools that are available to all ARC users. The last one here is called climate risk. And for those of you who are engaged in responding to things like the widespread use of Task Force for Climate-Related Financial Disclosure, TCFD recommendations, climate risk is a tool for you. This is a subset of ARC tools that bring together issues around transition risk, that is the transition to a low carbon economy, so your ARC carbon score, with a new metric called the ARC electricity score, the fraction of your total energy demand that is met with electricity, and third-party physical risk reports. In this case, one of the solutions on a global basis is Moody's ESG solution. So we allow users to select to add in a location-specific Moody's ESG solutions report. They may, for projects in the US, they may alternatively elect to use the Coastal Risk Consulting Risk Footprint Report. So we provide two different plugins for different situations. Together, what this allows a project to do is to say, where do I stand in my transition risk? How do my carbon emissions compare to other similar properties around the world? Where do I stand on my journey toward electrification? And how am I doing on my physical risk side of the equation? This again is manifest in a variety of reports, one of them being a physical risk assessment, that this is the one powered by Moody's ESG Solutions. And you'll see that we provide their information about critical issues like heat stress, water stress, sea level rise, floods, comparing a site to a country and providing an overall risk assessment. This is an excellent way to rapidly screen individual assets or entire portfolios. You can, of course, dive deeper into key performance indicators such as rainfall intensity, wet days, and so forth, a myriad of other data to decompose risk into specific manageable factors. I'm going to leave you with one bottom line. What can you do with ARC today? Today, you can score any project anywhere in the world, whether it's a commercial interior, a whole office, a community, or a city. You can compare your performance to a variety of standards, to this emerging world of building performance standards, to LEED standards, or to your own benchmarks and targets. You can analyze, summarize, and report on on your performance, and when you're ready, celebrate your leadership, whether it's in absolute terms or in improvement. If you'd like to learn more and get started, you can go to the ARC Guru website right now. You can check out the links at the top and create your own project, log in, and get going. Of course, we're happy to help you. You can always email contact@arcsguru.com to get in touch and find out more. Thanks for your attention. We're looking forward to seeing you on the platform.